Gavin Ortland, Matt Fratt, sat down for his podcast, Pints with Acquaintance, and they had the conversation. They had the conversation that so many of you guys desire. My favorite Protestant creator, Protestant apologist, if you would call him, and my favorite Catholic creator. Go at it, okay? Protestant versus Catholic, the Christian apologetic battle. Now, there's another clip from this we might have to react to, which I saw you had it pulled up.
Yep.
But this is the one I wanted to get because they got me with the title. So I'm going in blind. 5 minutes, great clip to react to.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not have a conversation coming with Pints with Acquaintance. I don't know, but you can see my conversation with him on my channel. Me and Matt Fratt talk about cigars. A lot of you guys got in trouble.
Promoting
a lot of you guys got us in trouble for that. We're promoting tobacco now. All right, go ahead.
One thing I've noticed in Protestant-Catholic relations, and I don't know if this is a correct assessment, I suspect it is, I'd be interested in your point of view, is that Protestants knew their Bible really well. And I think it's fair to say there was some anti-Catholic bias in America. I think it's more than fair to
Is this a digital interview?
say. And, you know, you've got the Jack Chick tracks and things like this. I think after a while, Catholics kind of got tired of being beaten up and they, like, developed some apologetic muscle. And to the point where they were like, please come at me. And they kind of became more on the offensive against Protestants, maybe 80s, 90s, early aughts. And it's funny to see how this kind of goes back and forth because I'm seeing, I would say like 10, 15 years ago, I wasn't hearing a lot of anti-Catholic. Okay, that's a wrong way to put it. I don't like using the word anti-Catholic because I wouldn't say anti-Protestant if a Catholic thought you were wrong. So I won't say anti-Catholic. I wasn't seeing people on a sort of muscular offensive against Catholics 10, 20 years ago, but I am today. And I wonder if that
Wait, muscular offensive against Catholics? I feel like these Catholics are built different now.
Yeah.
Catholics in the 90s is like, you know, you mainly met nominal Catholics. These Catholics today, they're about their stuff. They know their stuff. And they've probably also invested resources into stuff like Catholic Answers. And, you know, they got their Trent Horns. They got their Jimmy Akins. They got some great apologists over there. Folks that I love Jimmy Akins' debate with Bart Ehrman. Like they got good folks over there, so I'm super intrigued by this. Go ahead.
Muscular offensive against Catholics is in part a response to the Catholics' response to the anti-Catholic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How these things kind of go in cycles. Yeah.
You will have better historical perspective about that because if people can believe this, I actually have not been deeply entrenched in the Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, Protestant conversation until about 4 years ago. Wow. And I've gotten pulled into it to my own surprise. Trying to help people and answer questions. And I will be honest, I think I was a bit dismayed at just the lack of Protestant representation on YouTube when I began. I didn't necessarily feel that there were some, but not very many voices necessarily defending Protestantism well. You tended to see a little bit more of some of the things you've described of a very militant posture.
Yes.
Or one tended to see just...
I was going to say if he says it, just straw manning.
Yeah.
Like there's sensible disagreements between Catholics and Protestants and Orthodox and Catholics. But when you're just straw manning each other and you're not actually accurately and charitably representing the other side, is that really a solid disagreement?
Complete avoidance of the conversation. So there's lots of great Protestant YouTube channels that just don't talk about these kinds of issues. They do other things. I just watch debate after debate where the Protestant gets demolished or maybe doesn't have a very grounded perspective even in historic Protestantism. And so, of course, that's not true of everybody. There are some thoughtful Protestants out there doing great work.
May I ask, who do you think is doing decent work? You don't have to agree with everything they're saying, but like, who are some Protestant YouTubers addressing the kind of Catholic-Protestant distinction that you're like, yeah, they've got some good things to say?
Yeah. I love Jordan Cooper's channel.
Yep.
Waiting for the Blessed God Studios. That's a whole lane of videos we got going out there, although we do publish a lot of other ones.
About what, Catholic versus...
Protestant, Orthodox, Protestant, Catholic.
Well, we do some good conversations about that. I don't know if I would say I'm a Protestant apologist.
But that's why I said the Blessed God Studios channel, because I feel like
I still don't feel like I'm defending Protestantism. I'm kind of like we're redeemed
Jonathan
Zoomers.
Pajot and Neil pressing you on Orthodox.
Conversation amongst friends.
That's still
that's not the same as like I am trying to be the face of defending Protestantism against the attacks of the Catholics and the Orthodox. I don't care that much. I think we're right. I think we're right.
Except for
but I
aesthetic.
love you guys.
Yeah.
But y'all aesthetics is better. Y'all aesthetic is fire. You got me on art. You got me on the art, the church history bit.
Go ahead. Well, he strikes me as a good man and a reasonable person. Even the things we're talking about our culture, he strikes me as one of those people I look to and I see him as trying to carve out a sane pathway in terms of working through like the culture war issues. But also Lutherans are great. Lutherans are often very erudite and deep in history and
Lutherans really got the church history bit, and they're very similar to Catholics. This is the thing. People judge Protestants by like seeker-friendly, non-denominational, flip-flops in the pulpit.
Flip-flops.
Protestants.
Yeah.
If you really want to like judge Protestants, go sit with like Lutherans, go sit with high-level Protestants and you'll discover that a lot of the views aren't that different when it comes to stuff like communion, when it comes to stuff like baptism. It's very similar. Lutherans are very similar, and that's the denomination that goes directly back to Luther. Luther was more of a Catholic than your typical non-denominational flip-flop wearing Protestant
Luther would be
teacher.
mad. He'd be like, "What are you doing in flip-flops?"
Hold on. It just pulled out a German accent.
Wasn't he German? He was German. Okay, yeah.
That was great.
What are you doing on flip-flops on Sunday service? It's an abomination. I should have never put the theses on the wall.
Yo.
You've ruined it all. Could you imagine?
Oh,
He's just
man.
mad. He's like, "Oh man, I didn't know you were gonna take it this far."
What have you done with the communion?
What have you? The Eucharist.
The Eucharist.
They had their rights.
It's total presence.
to philosophy and all the things that evangelicals tend to be weak at intellectually. I often find Lutherans are great. So I love watching his stuff, and I've enjoyed doing things with him. The thing is, there's lots of great Protestants out there doing great work that isn't as visible on YouTube. So I tend to always encourage people to read books and just see what's out there. So I think, Kevin Van Hooser at Trinity Evangelical Divinity School, a theologian I greatly esteem. He's written on these various things. He strikes where I'm coming from is broadly where I would locate someone like him, and that is trying to find the healthy balance between not attacking, not being the anti-Catholic, for lack of a better term, not failing to appreciate our common ground. I think we are fellow Christians. Now, at the same time, we don't want to trivialize our differences because they matter.
Right.
And so, I think it's appropriate for us to contend for the truth where we differ and to make arguments.
Yes.
So trying to find that middle space, which I think is the healthy space, but also the trickiest space to be in. And I see him and his work as something like that. So he'd be another person. Oh, there's so many I could try to think of in terms of books.
I want to give a big shout out to my man, Gavin Ortland, for his new book called What It Means to Be Protestant.
Nice.
Like I said, I think we're right. So this is a great resource to folks that are kind of wrestling through this, like, but I like both and all that kind of stuff. And so I would say, yes and amen. Dig into it. Read about it. Listen to the conversation.
How much of that did you get through?
Not very much.
He gave it to you before.
He gave it to me, or his publisher. Someone sent it to me. I would say sit with the best of the best debates. Like sit with his debate with Trent Horn that Matt Fratt actually facilitated. Great conversation. Sit with those conversations and listen to the differences. Like there's strong distinctions between the Orthodox, the Catholics, and the Protestants, and try to at least have a good understanding of the differences.
Yeah.
Like get the best of the best from the Catholics, get the best of the best from the Protestants, get the best of the best from the Orthodox, and think through it. I think we're right. I think we're right.
I want to be Orthodox really bad, but I think we're right. That's the hard part.
I think
I don't want to intentionally be wrong.
Well, there's a lot of appeal. There's a lot of appeal with Catholicism and Orthodoxy in the sense that I don't mean to be like a jerk, but like a lot of the thinking is kind of done for you. A lot of the wrestling is like, well, we kind of solved this.
We solved it. Church history.
This was decided upon. And if there's values in their traditions, I don't think you just discard those values as well. Like I think there could be value in some of those conversations. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.